Howdy gang, hope you're all having a fantastic day. Check it out, different view of the studio. You can see my guitars and some of my pedals and obviously the gatekeeper there. Animal, yeah! He looks after the studio, he's the studio manager in here. So as you read from the title, today's video is 5 things that actually made me the guitar player that I am today. And I wanted to pass these tips on because I was discussing with my student Krista how I became the guitar player that I am today, and the guy you see on all the videos which I upload to YouTube, and when you listen to all the music that you get to listen to on my channel. Now before I tell you all about them, please do hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification so you know when new videos are going to be coming out, and please do give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media. It is so much appreciated. So Krista's got a fantastic channel of her own which is called Two-Way Mirrors. It's part of the business that she runs with her partner James. They're both students of mine, and we've been working on some songs, and I've been helping her to improve her guitar playing. And we were actually going through some tips about how to really quickly become good at guitar playing, and I was tapping into the things that work for me, and these have been things that have worked for me over the years, have made me the guitar player that I am, have allowed me to learn how to play like George Lynch and other guitar players, and continue to work for me even when I need to learn something new now. All of these tips actually work for me, and they work for me really super quickly as well. So let's get into it. Now the first tip that I gave Krista was visualizing your aim. Now this was something that actually just came to mind as we were discussing this, and I wasn't even aware of this until we started to discuss it. But when I began playing guitar back in 1989, I had this really singular vision of what I wanted to do. I started off wanting to learn Iron Maiden songs because I was really big into Iron Maiden, and then George Lynch came along. Heard a couple of songs by him, and I was just totally taken by the music. And from that moment I had this vision of being able to play that music, and it was this absolute laser guided vision about what I wanted to do. I could see myself actually playing those licks. I could hear myself playing those licks. I could feel it under my fingers. Even back then there was this extremely sharp focus on what I wanted to achieve, and I held on to that, and it basically meant that I pursued that. And what it did was it led to me pursuing that and doing what I needed to in order to achieve it. But the first thing that happened was, it was up here. It was a vision that I had. I could see it, I could feel it, I could taste it, I could touch it. I knew the guitar player that I wanted to become. I knew the music that I wanted to learn. And you know, whether you do meditation, whether you don't, whether you believe in spirituality or you don't, it doesn't really matter. But having that vision allows you to have the focus which will allow you to do what is necessary in order to achieve that goal. So it's extremely important in whatever you're doing. For my guitar playing, this still works today. So if I want to learn a style by another guitar player, it doesn't actually start with me learning licks or a song by them. It actually starts up here. I have a vision of what I want to do, and I can hear myself and feel myself actually playing the track. I recently did a track in the style of Brian May. Now I have not learned any Queen songs in my lifetime. I've kind of learned a couple of riffs here and there when I was teaching guitar students many years ago. But you know what? I haven't delved into his style, into that music. I just haven't, because I was so into hard rock and stuff. Beautiful music, but it's just something I never got around to. But for that particular video, I really wanted to play in the style of Brian May. And the first thing that happened was I had this vision of how I wanted the track to sound. And I could hear it. I could see myself playing it. And it all started up here. Now you can do this by closing your eyes and actually meditating and visualizing what you want. That's one way of doing it, and some people are cool with that. Some people don't meditate. That's okay. Everybody has the ability to close their eyes and actually see themselves doing what they want to do. That's just very, very, very basic visualization. It's putting it into your imagination. It's putting it into your psyche. And that's what it does. It puts it into your psyche. It puts it into that subconscious mind of yours. That's what you want to achieve. And that's going to lead you to step number 2. So my second tip is a question. What are you going to do to make it happen? What steps are you going to take in order to make it happen? Now, when I was a kid and I started out learning, we didn't have internet. We used to get guitar magazines which came out once a month, and there'd be 2 of them, Guitar for the Practicing Musician and Guitar World. And maybe they would have a tab which I wanted to learn by my favorite artist, maybe they wouldn't. I had to basically take what was given. The other thing that I had was cassette tapes and records, and that's how I learned. I had to put them on, listen to them, and figure it out and pick up tips wherever I could. But I did whatever it took in order to actually make it happen. Now, like I said, I had this really, really razor sharp vision of what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to be able to play like George Lynch. So I used to listen to the Dokken albums over and over and over again, and I wouldn't just be listening to them, I'd be analyzing them, I'd be actually storing them in my mind. I could hear them even when I wasn't playing them. I didn't need the cassette tape in order to kind of know what the song sounded like. It was there. I could hear it whenever I wanted. And I used to pick it apart, listen to all the little sounds and listen to how George used to do things and how he used to phrase things, and was there a little bit of an inflection on this note? Was there kind of like, was this sounding smooth, or did it sound like he was picking something? Went into extreme fine detail. So I basically did whatever I needed to do in order to make it happen. And this is a really important point. Now, we live in a really, really awesome era now where we have so many resources. You've got YouTube. I've got a ton of videos which are called Lynch Licks, right? And I have a ton of other teaching videos as well where you can go and learn a ton of stuff. So that's an incredible resource. And then after that, what are you going to do to make it happen? How much are you going to practice? How much time are you going to dedicate to this in order to achieve your goal? And that's really, 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 really super important. Do you think it's going to happen within an hour of playing? Maybe you do, maybe it will. But if it doesn't, what else are you going to do? Are you going to carry on doing it? Are you going to keep pursuing it? This goes down to my mantra, which I talked about in one of the other videos which I did when I showed you my 10 favorite George Lynch solos to play, which is For a Million Years. Yeah. And the lyrics to the song are, I'll wait for you, I will follow for a million years. It's quite poignant. It goes to my mindset. What am I going to do in order to make it happen? Well, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to keep pursuing it until I achieve the aim that I want to. And you know what? Sometimes it was challenging, it was frustrating, I couldn't do things and I had to put in more work. But I kept pursuing it. And I just kept pursuing it and pursuing it and pursuing it. And you know what? I realized a couple of weeks back that I actually achieved that. I got to the point where I could play whichever George Lynch songs that I wanted to, but I've also gone way beyond that. So a couple of years back I wanted to focus on my own music, and that's exactly what I did, and I followed that. And I do that even now. What am I going to do in order to make it happen? So even if I want to learn somebody else's style, I go and learn their style. I go and find their songs. I go and find the tab. I go and listen to them. And then I start absorbing. I start analyzing. I start picking it apart and actually learning how to play in their style. Which is why on my channel you get to see, tracks in the style of George Lynch, Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Steve Stevens, Warren DeMartini, Brian May, Nuno Betancourt, all these guys who I've idolized over the years as being absolute guitar heroes in my book. So, ask yourself that question. What are you going to do in order to make it happen? The third tip is to have focused practice. Now, this is really super important. Once you've visualized what you want to achieve and you've decided you're going to do what it takes in order to achieve what you would like to, the third thing that I do is focus my practice. Now, let's say you want to learn to become a rock soloist. Let's say you want to learn to solo like George Lynch. And this is something which has come up in my guitar lessons quite often. I get asked the question, well, how do I solo like George Lynch? How do I learn that style? Well, it's not going to help you achieve your goal if you go and learn jazz chord theory. Now, I know that sounds silly, but honestly, some people have done that. And basically, I've had students who've been taught to learn their scales and their chords and not to copy any other guitar player. That's it. You just don't do it. You figure it out. You learn your scales, you play your scales, you keep playing your scales, and then eventually it will happen. How? That's like you guys coming to me and saying, Jay, I would like to learn this language, which you know. And then me saying to you, yeah, cool, I have a great book which you can read, here you go, and then handing you a dictionary. Now technically all the information is there, right? Now you can learn every single word in that language from that book, correct? But it's not going to teach you how to speak that language. So this is where focused practice comes in. If you want to learn to play solos like George Lynch, go and learn George Lynch solos. Why? Because that's going to focus your practice onto what you want to achieve, your aim. Yeah, that is directly learning what you want to achieve. It's not going to help you to go and learn a bunch of scales. I get asked that question as well. Which scales does George Lynch play? What does it matter? Go learn some solos. And this is super important. Now, if your aim is to learn scales and theory, then yes, go and learn that. But if you want to learn something very specific, then you have to focus your practice on that element that you want to learn. Again, this works for me in practice every single day because I like to write in the styles of different guitar players, and because I demo gear sometimes. I do gear videos for YouTube. Often I'll get a piece of gear which isn't going to be like a Dokken Hard Rock, Lynch Mob, Warren DeMartini, Rat, etc. type of thing. It's not going to be a rock thing. It's going to be in a different genre. So what I do is I kind of decide what I want to learn, and then I go and learn that style from that guitar player. So maybe I'll pick a couple of solos, I'll listen to them really carefully, and then pick up tips from them, and then I'll start to practice that. And going back to the Brian May Queen type track, which I did a few months ago, it worked exactly like that. I did that within a couple of days. I hadn't learned any Brian May solos, and I still haven't, to be honest. I literally just went and listened to him play and some of his solos, and watched a couple of videos and absorbed it. And then I figured it out, and then I practiced it. I looked at a couple of tabs, looked at the construction of how he did things, and very, very quickly, it literally happened within like a day or so. And then I just practiced for a couple of days, and then I recorded it. It happened all in maybe like 3 days. That's how quickly I was able to write that track, record that track, and get it done, because of my focused practice. I had that aim in mind, and visualized it, and then I focused my practice. This works for my guitar lessons as well, because sometimes I'll hook up with a student, they haven't had time to practice during the week, and they'll say, hey, can we go through this song? I might not have ever heard it before in my life. Quickly pull up the tab, go through it, have a quick listen, and literally within a couple of minutes I'm playing the song, and I'm teaching them and guiding them through it. And sometimes by the end of the session I can play the whole song or the solo. Because while I'm actually teaching them, I'm actually practicing it. I'm actually going through that focused practice. I'm actually thinking about what do I need to pass on to them, and that focuses my mind on what I'm doing. So focus your practice on what you'd like to achieve. Super, super, super important, and it's gotten me results so often. Give it a try. The fourth thing is having belief. Do you believe you can achieve it? Super, super important as well. I know I keep saying all of these are super important. All 5 are super important to me. This one has been a roller coaster for me, because for a long time I didn't believe in myself. And I know you guys get to see all of the cool things that I do on YouTube these days, but there have been times when I haven't believed in what I'm doing, in my abilities as a guitar player, especially coming up, until let's say about 5, 6, 7 years ago. My confidence at being a guitar player wasn't really that strong. I used to have a lot of doubts about my guitar playing. I was always critical about my guitar playing. I was always looking at the mistakes I was making. I was always looking at the things which weren't working. But I didn't have the belief that I could continue to do it. And then around that time I was actually thrown into a recording project, which became the Inner Road album Ascension. And I basically had to record a full album worth of progressive rock music. And just to put this into context, the previous album that I'd recorded, which was Circle of Fire, took me 7 years to complete. Because I had so many doubts about, my ability to do it, especially the solos. I remember just procrastinating on starting the solos. But when I started the Inner Road album, I wanted to get it done. And I believed in myself. I had a vision about what I wanted to do with that album. And when I heard the backing tracks, I could actually hear and see what I wanted to achieve with each track. And it was a fascinating period of time. It took me 3 months to do, and I got the entire album recorded. And I was literally recording 3 days a week and learning stuff, figuring stuff out, figuring out different rhythms, different like time signatures, 6/4, 7/4, sometimes 9/4, stuff that I hadn't done before. Learning different styles, incorporating them into my playing. If you listen to the first track, which is called Ascension, listen to the ending. There's a very kind of Dream Theater, John Petrucci-ish type of thing going on, and that was my aim for that. And you know what? Through those 3 months, I'd never doubted myself. I knew I could do it, and I just completely focused in on it. It gave me the belief that I could do it, and that's carried on now. So when I record now, it literally takes me a couple of hours. If I think up a song idea, or if I want to do a video about a piece of gear, or I want to write a track, I just do it. Don't doubt my abilities, and that's really, really helped me to achieve my aims. So believe in yourself. You know what? We're all going to have challenges along the way. It was a rocky road for me. I had to work incredibly hard. I have practiced for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in order to get to where I am now. But I did it. But you know what's helped me the most? It's the belief. Once I believed in myself, then that progress, which was kind of like just flowing along a little bit at a time, went like this. And it's continued to go like that. It's continued to ascend like at a really steep pace now. And I'm really grateful for that. And it's because I do believe in myself now. So, I do get my challenges now and then, and I get into a funk sometimes about not being able to do something. Maybe it's like things like growing my YouTube channel. Yeah, and in all honesty, I've been in a funk about that for about a year. But now, at this point in time, I really believe in myself. I believe I can do it. I believe I can reach the targets which I have in my mind, which I've visualized. And I'm going to keep pursuing it. And that's going to be my aim now. That's going to be one of my aims in order to achieve what I want to achieve. And I do believe that I can do it. So have belief in yourself. You know what? I believe in you guys. You believe in you guys as well. All right, the final one, number 5, is to let go of fear. Now, what do I mean by that? Don't be afraid of making mistakes. We all do it. Even professional musicians make mistakes sometimes. Don't worry about it. Because you know what? We all do it. And mistakes are a way of learning. Yeah, we try and minimize mistakes and stuff. But you know what happened to me? Because I was always afraid of making a mistake, I never used to kind of get close to the aims I wanted to achieve, because I could not do it until I was perfect at it. So I couldn't record until I was perfect at it. I couldn't play a certain style until I was perfect at it, because I was afraid of making a mistake and making a fool of myself, and then everybody would see it on YouTube or wherever, and people would say I suck. And then one day, you know what? I was sitting here in the studio right here, and I remember I was thinking about Doug Aldrich's playing and how he kind of just looked up at the sky and just played and stuff. And I let go of fear that day. That was probably like 10 years ago or something like that. I don't remember how many years ago it was. But I distinctly remember just thinking about his playing and just how confident he was in guitar playing. And I sat here for about an hour and a half, just closed my eyes, looked up, and I just played and played and played and played. It didn't matter if I made a mistake, if I played well, if I kind of did things right, if I did things wrong. I just played, and I wasn't afraid of it. And it really helped me, because that has been my mindset since then. what, when I play live, when I have played live in the last few years, yeah, there's that little bit of voice in the background saying, you know what, you got to get this perfect. And yes, that's something I want to achieve, but I'm not afraid of making a mistake. If I make a mistake when I'm playing live, hey, you know what, it's a mistake. I've seen George Lynch make mistakes on stage, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. Watch some of the videos, watch some of the live videos by all of these guys. Sometimes they just make a little bit of a mistake. No big deal, you move past it. Now, if you get stuck on the fear of making the mistake, then that just holds you in that place. It just holds you firm in that single space, and it doesn't allow you to move forward. Yeah. What do you do if you're kind of like recording a solo and everything is perfect and you don't get one note correct? Do you just scrap the whole thing and you start again? What if it's a 3-minute solo? I know I just carry on, finish it, and then punch in and replace that little part. It's like, no big deal, dude. What are you going to do if you're on stage? If you make a mistake? Are you going to basically kind of take your guitar off, chuck it to the side and say, screw this, I made a mistake, I can't be here now? No, work through it. Don't be afraid of it. You know what, I make so many mistakes all the time, every single week, but I don't focus on them. I basically get through them. Even recording this video, you've seen all the edit points, right? That's where I made a mistake. I said something wrong and I had to redo it. But I've continued doing it, and I've continued doing it with a smile on my face, because you know what? I understand that that's part of what I do, and recording a video, it's no big deal. So let go of the fear. Trust me, it will help you to move forward and become an even better guitar player. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you would like more videos like this, please do leave a comment in the comments box below and let me know, because I would love to share more tips with you guys. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification as well, so you know when new videos are going to be coming out. And also, please do give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends on social media. I just made a mistake there, hence you saw an edit point. Have a fantastic day, guys. Put those into action. See how they work for you. I would love to hear from you how these have worked for you. So once you've done them, come back to this video, leave a comment, and let me know how you got on with them. Also, let me know where you are in the world, because I'd love to know that. I'd love to know where all the people who watch my videos are all over the world. Thank you so much, guys. Have a fabulous day. Have an incredibly inspiring day. And I shall see you again soon with another video. See you later. Bye.